Do you ever find yourself letting those negative thoughts creep in, or you just don't feel like you're keeping up with the Joneses? And the Joneses are the other designers you're following on Instagram, by the way. Well, today on Design Sips, we're going to dig into the mindset of getting out of the negative and moving towards positivity. I'll see you there. We'll raise a glass while we think tank how to take your business into more joy, more abundance, and more balance. I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Design Sips. Cheers.
Cheers, Sandra. Cheers. Okay, so I'm excited to dig into this topic. Let's see what our designers have to say. Beth asks, how do you stop yourself from going down the rabbit hole of social media? I find myself constantly scrolling and comparing myself to other designers.
It is so hard to be out in the world in this Instagram world, right? Where it's all perfect and it's all edited and it's all done up, and not see ourselves as behind, or not see ourselves as, that imposter syndrome. Like, oh my gosh, they're going to find out that I'm just really not that good. And it is hard because our world is very visual and we're all right there on top of each other at the grab of your phone, right? So crazy important to stay in your own lane and be your own person. And I know I was struggling with this, and I was like literally telling my coach that I was going to unfollow a bunch of these other accounts because I was like, it's just giving me bad vibes. Like, I just feel like I'm constantly like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? And my coach, of course, was like, or we could level ourselves up above comparison instead of taking away. It's like taking away the cookie instead of learning to not eat the cookie because you don't really need the cookie. So that is my true test, is to leave all those accounts in my scroll and still feel good about myself. So we're gonna really talk through some of my techniques to do that, and Sarah's gonna lead me through it because they're detailed and
There's many.
So let's dig in, because yes, I'm there too. We all go there. One of the big things that I know, I've just researched, working with my coach, reading on the subject, is that like 70% of humans deal with this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not where I should be in my field, or I'm not up to snuff with the other, bankers, designers, tile installers. You do you, right? Like, we all have it. We all look around and go, how come I'm not where he is, right? So it's not rare. It's not something that doesn't come and go and then come back again and need to be like put back in its place. So yeah, let's tackle it head on.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so why don't we start with the role that self-talk plays in all this?
Huge, right? So again, it's that thing of seeing some amazing, seeing some scroll, driving by some house, seeing the sign out front, your competitor got the big house up on the hill, right? And they're designing away in there, and you're like, grr, right? And it's what do you say to yourself when that happens? Do you say, I should have got that job, I'm not good enough? It's all that noise that we fill our heads with. And someone that I follow loves to say that the human has 80,000 thoughts per day. And I don't know if that's true or how anybody figured that out or not, but I can imagine that that's probably true, knowing the like endless cycle that is running through my head all day. And that most of them are not true. Okay? I think this is so interesting that these thoughts that are going through our head are just that. They're thoughts. They're mostly like what ifs. Like, what if you're not really good enough? What if you didn't get that job because? What if you float ideas, right? And it's the one that you grab and you believe to be true that like matters and sticks with you. Like, somebody might cut you off and you're like, what if? And you're like, blow it off, who cares? Like, right? Like, if you're in a good space, that you should be blowing that off and letting it go, right? But it's the one like that sticks, that you're like, they meant that, they're out for me, like if you let it stick, it can really mess with your head. So self-talk, it's really important to recognize that there are a lot of ideas that come at us and not all of them are true. And then really important is to fill your head with the ideas that you choose instead of just letting whatever comes up fill your space. So our ego is naturally negative, okay? It is like a evolutionary pain in the ass that we are stuck with until we evolve out of it, or maybe we're stuck with it forever because we need it, right? But the ego is there to tell us, careful, don't go too close to that cliff. I don't know if you should eat that berry. Like, that looks like a really dangerous saber-tooth tiger. And it comes from our needing to be out in the world, experiencing things, and not walking in front of a bus, right? It is going to be primarily negative because it is there to watch out for you. It's there to put those 80,000 thoughts running through your head, and they have to be like, that might not be a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't do that, right? They're negative because they're making you be careful. Can you imagine a world where we just are like, ooh, yummy poison berry. Oh, pretty tiger. Like, oh gosh, the Grand Canyon looks so beautiful. I'll swan dive into it. Like, without this barrier, without this hesitation, you can imagine our race may have not survived all this time. But now we know, we have evolved so far, that the negative thoughts are, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not there yet, right? Like, we already know what to eat and not to go diving over the edge of the Grand Canyon. So this natural evolutionary negativity is coming at us all day long, and it's not helpful. So okay, we're gonna fill our mind with positive thoughts, and we're gonna also cultivate the quiet mind. And we're going to talk about how to do that, okay? So cultivating the quiet mind. I use mantra and meditation, yoga, walking in nature. This other one that I love so much is travel. Sarah and I were just talking about this, that travel can be a meditative experience because you are outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you don't speak the language. You're outside of your culture. The tastes, the smells, the sights, the feels, everything is so completely different than your normal that when I'm taking a walk down my street, I am so used to it. It is so normal. I could literally walk down my street, walking my dog, texting, listening to an audiobook, having a conversation with a friend, being lost in my crazy 80,000 negative thoughts, right? All of that is completely possible because my environment is so regular to me, I don't think twice about it. When you're traveling or you're immersed in something, your mind is busy, like the sounds, the sights, the cars are on the opposite side of the street. You can't just walk down the street blindly. You have to be paying complete and total attention, right? You have to be completely checked in. And that's a meditative state. Being completely focused on what you are doing right now. You feel that when you're first falling in love. It's like you can't see anything but this person that you're like infatuated with, right? That's that feeling of complete and total immersion. We also get that state and that feeling intentionally through meditation, mantra, yoga, prayer, again, walking in nature without the headphones, without the, texting while you're walking, like being completely immersed. And sometimes I think walking in nature, maybe you need to be like hiking on a trail in nature so that you're paying attention to the sights and sounds. You're looking for, making sure you're not twisting an ankle in a rut and not stepping on the edge of a stone or whatnot. Like walking down a sidewalk in nature, a little easy to just get off into your own zone, right? But getting really out there in nature, walking on a beach where there's shells and crabs and things, and you can't just be kind of like half-assing it. You have to be completely present with it. Or that awe-inspiring moment of a sunrise where you wouldn't dare take your eyes off of it, right? You're there completely. So yeah, meditation, mantra, yoga don't have to be your things. There's other ways to do this. But this gives your mind a break from those 80,000 negative thoughts. Not all those thoughts are negative, but you know what I mean. 80,000 thoughts, lots of them are negative. And it allows you to then fill that space. And then what's really important is to fill space with setting intentions, mantra, positive thinking, whatever it is. So I have this little daily mantra that I say to myself every single day, and I've kind of cultivated it over time. I'm going to read it to you, okay? And whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you need to turn around, this is what you would start to say to yourself. So this is mine. I am health. I am joy. I am infinite. I am a creator. I am abundant, I am balanced, and I am worthy. Okay, do you see how getting into a meditative state, clearing all the clutter, turning off all the crazy noises, and then filling your mind with something positive like that, how that could start to turn the tides away from the comparison and into that confidence and that kind of quiet, calm confidence that we need to be an entrepreneur, to go out into the world every day and pitch clients, be rejected by some, right? We're not going to get every job we pitch. Pitch press, get rejected by some. Pitch collaborations, get rejected by some, and keep going. We really do need daily confidence as entrepreneurs. It is so crazy important. And I know we have a few more techniques to do it, but I just went on a rampage. Let's have a little cocktail while we think about what we've done.
No, I think that's all such good stuff. And something that's easy to forget in such a busy, especially as an entrepreneur, you know, and if you have a family and or parents you're taking care of, whatever it might be, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle.
Oh, it's so easy. Yeah, and I'm finally in that place. I mean, I go through ebbs and flows always. It's cyclical, but I'm in a really good place right now where like 5:30 in the morning, I'm up, I've got my tea, I'm headed to my meditation station. I do my 20 minutes of yoga. I sit and do my 20 minutes of mantra meditation. I don't sit quietly well, so I do a lot of mantra and then those kind of setting intentions. It's incredibly different how your day unfolds when you set up yourself with that quiet confidence in the beginning of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I love that quiet confidence, and maybe calling it quiet confidence instead of meditation, so you feel like I'm doing something to prepare myself for the day.
Yeah.
If you've never related with the word meditate.
Correct. Yeah, if that, all the woo-woo stuff isn't your zone, this is entrepreneurial preparedness, right? Like it literally is bolstering yourself for the day that you're about to take on.
Right. So let's talk about some other things like visualization, walking yourself through something like a completed project. Talk us through that.
Yep. All right, so I'm loving this example of like driving down the street and seeing the, you know, the big beautiful house with someone else's sign out front, right? And you're like, "Urgh." So, okay, let's use that. Like use that as fuel. Go back, take your time, sit down, write it out, talk it into your voice memos, close your eyes and visualize it, create a Canva board or, you know, whatever, however you visualize. I know you're all visual because you're interior designers. However you do this, right? But I want you to envision walking up to an even better mansion on the hill, right? Having an incredible potential client flow, pitching them, getting signed. Your sign is going up out front. You have that incredible project, right? You see it through. You're getting referrals. All of a sudden your signs are boop, 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 all the way down the best street in town, right? Work that visual. Like spend time either writing it out, speaking it out, creating a board. Maybe you're on Zillow pulling some of the best beautiful images of beautiful homes in your area, and you've got your little sign and you're literally putting your sign, you know, you guys can create boards. I know you have the ability to do all this stuff. So create a board with all these beautiful houses in your town with your sign out front and visualize walking up to the door and meeting those potential clients and just closing client after client. Like what we visualize, we manifest, right? Where we put our attention increases. So put your attention on where you want to be and increase that. Do not put your attention on someone else's success or someone else's where they are, because then your focus on that will increase. Where we put our attention increases. So use that as fuel, use that as inspiration, come home, go back to the office, go to the studio and start to create your vision of where you're going, right? Use that as fuel. Just always use it as fuel for you to come forth in your own positivity.
Yeah, and I think along with visualization, and turning your focus away from others, focusing also on what you've done.
Yes.
Yeah, and testimonials, emails, even your portfolio.
Yeah, I love this. I know Sarah has a swipe file, and I think it's so incredibly helpful. So whenever we get like a really nice comment or a testimonial or something like that, put it, clip it, swipe it, put it somewhere so that you can get to it. And when you're having one of those days, go back and read through your swipe file of accomplishments. And so what this is it's another technique. Turn away from comparison focus and focus on what you give, right? Focus on not competitiveness, but focus on what you've done and what you already do, right? So focus on the clients who you are currently helping. Focus on the testimonials that you have already received. Maybe even pick up the phone and call one of those happy clients and check in on them. Like, I just wanted to know how the kitchen's, serving your family. Like, how's everything going? Like, if you need to turn around and bolster yourself, focus on where you give, who you help, where you are already serving, instead of comparison, where they are, what is happening with them. Again, where we spend our attention grows. So you want to grow your sphere of influence. You want to grow the people that you're able to help. You want to grow the community of amazing clients that you work with, instead of growing your focus and attention on others' successes. So again, pivoting your attention is really important, and being proactive about it is huge.
Right. And just start a screenshot folder on your phone and just start screenshotting nice text from friends, text from a client, text from a fellow designer in your business group, whatever it is that you can refer to easily.
I love that.
Okay, let's talk about going after difficult things and how that could even help.
Yes. So when you're feeling like you're not good enough, you're not there yet, imposter syndrome, right? Like they're gonna find out I'm a fraud. I'm not really that good at this. Like, it's been a fluke that I've had any success at all, right? Like, when all the crazy negativity starts washing down over you, one of the things that can really bolster your confidence is to go after and tackle hard things. And so you can look at your to-do list and you can say, like, okay, I've been procrastinating that thing, right? I find that hard. I find that challenging. That's outside of my comfort zone. And maybe it's the day that you need to actually tackle that hard thing, because it will bolster your confidence, right? We have tackled some tough stuff in our years in business, and it is not uncommon for me to refer back to, like, I got through that, I can do this. Like, when you tackle tough things, you prove to yourself that you are in fact where you need to be. You are good enough. You belong where you are. You can handle it. And that is the truth, right? You wouldn't have what you have, you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't the right thing for you to be doing. So you just really have to set yourself up to own it, set yourself up for success, and set yourself up to own it. So going after something tough, systematically, work with your team. Again, always, like, if it's a thing you're procrastinating, maybe it's really better on someone else's plate, but like, you're the one who's going to have the team meeting, say, listen, we need to tackle this, we need to break it down in manageable bites, we need to figure out who would be best to do each step, we need to set deadlines so that we actually accomplish this. Like, be the leader, be the one who spearheads this, and get her done, and then give yourselves an incredible round of applause for getting it off that, because when you've got like a tough thing on your to-do list and it's just hanging there like a weight, like, get it done, and everyone's confidence will lift, and everyone's worthiness, right? That feeling of being worthy of where you are will settle in. And that's really what we're looking for, because you're totally worth it. You're capable, you're a creator, you're worthy of abundance, balance, joy, all the things.
Yes. Okay, and lastly,
yes,
you create the life that you desire. So going off what you just said, you're worth it, you could do whatever you set out to do. How does that help in this journey of getting over the comparison?
Well, so absolutely, when it comes to comparison, is this idea of a blue ocean, right? If you haven't read it, I love to read business books. Blue ocean strategy is one of my favorite concepts, right? Instead of being in comparison and looking at the competition and looking at what everyone else is doing and being in that same zone and like just in that, like, almost middle school, right? Like, everyone's wearing the same outfits, everyone's got the same damn haircut. Like, get out of middle school. Be an individual, be unique, be different, be bold, right? And where that comes from is that quieter place inside, sourced from your own creativity. So instead of doing the same reel that everyone else is doing the same, podcasts that everyone else is doing the same blog posts that everyone else is doing, whatever it looks like to you, whatever the comparison is going on, source from your own creativity, you know, like again, it's that quiet space. It's where do your designs come from? Where do you get inspired? Where does that never-ending creative fountain come from? Use that creative fountain to everything, to your brand, to your marketing, to everything. Be a blue ocean. Stop being in the sameys, comparison land over there, and do your complete own thing over here. Be your complete own self. Be your own brand, your own vision. Offer a completely different product offering. Offer a completely different way of interacting with your firm. Like, change the game. Don't try to be somebody else's version of good. Change the game entirely. And if this concept is like, what do you mean? Go read Blue Ocean. It's so good, and it will start to open you up. Another really great tip from Blue Ocean is go outside of our industry, right? Stop looking at all the other designers and comparing and mimicking and contrasting. Instead, go look at some other industry entirely and maybe get inspired by like, oh, they're doing something completely different. They talk about it completely different. They market in a completely different way, or their product offerings are done in a completely different way. That's a big part of like when we re-strategize our pricing model and like our processes. We stopped looking at the interior design industry entirely and started looking outside of interior design because we knew the business model of interior design was not necessarily efficient, lucrative, fun, right? Joy, balance, abundance, those are my principles. And I was like trying to bring those principles into interior design. So I spent a ton of time outside of the design industry looking at best practices for a service-based business. And it's wonderful. And it's a blue ocean. It's a whole new way. It's not doing the sameys. It's a whole new concept. And you can do that with whatever it is you're comparing yourself on. If your designs are feeling a little samey, if your marketing, if your team, your staff, the way you do things, your processes, like get outside of that lane and create your complete and total own lane all by yourself. It will feel so good.
Yes, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Okay, so we have set you on a path to gain more confidence and be more creative in the ways that you need to be. So we want to tell you now to go, it might be time to raise your rates.
Yeah, it's true. You're worth it.
So we have a whole video on this and check it out.
Absolutely. So yes, get your confidence squared on straight, and then it might be time to check out this next one. Thank you so much, everybody. Cheers. I'll see you next time.